So, Valter, how has the role of IR kind of transformed or evolved with digital communication tools and social media over the years?
So I think of IR has evolved a lot. I think IR has evolved like most industries, to be honest. I think as technology has evolved, I think the investor relations industry has been forced in many respects to evolve with it. And that's frankly for agencies like ours, but then also for the issuers. And so for the issuers, I always talk about the need to haves versus nice to haves. You need to have a social media presence. You need to have a digital presence. And if you don't, I think it's a critical mistake. I couldn't say that 20 years ago when I came into this business.
Right.
And so as social media has evolved, technology, and of course, obviously now with AI, there's just such a consumption of information and data, and it's happening so quickly that for issuers, you need to have a social media presence, you need to control that narrative, and then for agencies like ours, you better have your finger on the pulse. There's a narrative and there's a discussion happening online because of the evolution of technology that is happening with or without you. And so I think it's a mistake that one, issuers are not aware of it, but then for agencies that are supporting these issuers, you need to be able to understand at least what the perception of your company is online. And that comes in many forms. It's not only traditional social media channels, but as we all know, it's forums and message boards and apps and all these different pieces of technology that keep on popping up. If you don't have your finger on the pulse and are not ahead of that curve, other companies are just going to get, that much better at their communications. They're going to understand what the perception is of your company online. And I'm not suggesting that you actively day to day address some of those conversations, but does it offer you an opportunity at some point to address things that may or may not be factual, things that you may or may not want the narrative to be? If you're not ahead of that, I think as a public company and as an IR agency, I think you're going to be left behind.